Second World War didn't happen, would it be better?
I don't know.
Like the particles, it says like I am that I am. They arrange everywhere. Like everybody hears the voice in the entire world. Like I am that I am. You turn on the TV, you see like I am that I am. Like everybody just sees and hears this all the time, right? That would be like a kind of like raising the credence as well as something weird is going on, and like that, I wouldn't be so confident that there is no God after that event. All of these are just like examples, right?
Of course,
And because you ask for like an
they seem
example, right, of
all
something that would be like
absurd.
under, like
all of them
sorry.
seem absurd. If they were given
Yeah, but
as
listen, when you say
good
absurd, just like
evidence
clarify
for
what you mean
other
by absurd.
things that
What is
we,
meant by like a hypothesis to be absurd?
if it were to be given as good evidence for other things than the existence of God, for example, the existence of leprechaun, you would agree with me that this is not good evidence for the existence of
Yeah,
leprechaun.
I don't think existence of listen, I gave you like another example because you were confused about the aliens. So I gave you like another example that doesn't include aliens.
Yeah, but that's another conversation, and that's not the one I was
Yeah, so I
starting
gave you like
with.
two examples, right? So like because you were like confused about the aliens part.
I'm sorry, Marco. You're
So what
hugging
is
the
meant by
mic,
like when you say that
and I want to have this conversation with PKD. You had the
okay, go ahead.
chance to give other examples, but this one.
Yeah, that's fine, buddy.
Yeah,
Talk with
thank you.
PKD.
Thank you. So, what is the syllogism? It's a new thing for me.
So
What is it?
we can do, I can do natural language, or I can do like syllogism. How would you prefer? Look.
Syllogism. I love the syllogism.
Yeah, okay.
Those are things that I understand better.
So the first premise is it's a conditional. If God exists, then God is all good, all powerful, and all knowing. Do you agree with that premise?
No.
Oh, so Christianity
Most good,
is
most
false?
powerful, or most loving.
No, that's not what I said.
Correct, and that's where I disagree with. And I say, instead of all, you put most, and then we'll have a premise that we agree on.
Well, I'm saying all good, and all knowing,
Yeah.
and all powerful.
Yeah,
Isn't the God?
and this
isn't the Christian God that?
no. That's the answer is no.
You can just like PKD say rephrase it in a way that by most does he mean like
yeah
that thing that's going to be like to the maximum extent logically possible, right, to be the case, or something like that.
Was that what
I
you
don't
meant,
think so.
Luke?
Most good, most loving, and most powerful. Those are the three qualities of God that the Catholic Church presents. It is easier when you do a syllogism to use this one than the other ones.
When you say like
the
God
other
is
ones,
most good, right? Are you saying that he's good like that he always does what ought to occur, or he only wills what ought to occur?
there is no one, no being, better.
Okay, so God always does what ought to occur and wills what ought to occur, right?
No.
Ooh.
Okay, so sometimes he wills or does things that should not be or should not occur.
I don't know.
Wait,
Okay, so you don't know whether.
Wait, what was that? Like, rephrase that again?
When we say the most good, is that there is no one, no being, no thing that is better. Like better in the sense that gooder. I don't know how to say that otherwise, but
right. But does God
is it better in English?
Yeah.
Most good.
But that's
gooder?
like God.
Yeah, better.
That's like the God you believe in do moral mistakes.
Does he do moral mistakes? Are you asking me?
Yes.
I don't know how to measure that. It's another conversation about morality that I don't think we would have if we want to go
Luke is
through
saying,
your
PKD,
syllogism.
that God can will something that's morally evil. So he's saying like God doesn't always will what ought to occur. Like sometimes God can want evil stuff. He might like will rape or like genocide.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
No.
So you're saying that God cannot will evil
Okay,
things?
okay, that's fine. God doesn't will genocide, right? Like God is so. Like let's say we agree on the first premise, and it's going to be if God exists, then God is the most good, most knowing, and most powerful. And then we know, like from what you just said, that second premise would be if God is all good, then God doesn't will genocide, right? You agree with that?
Correct.
Yeah, and then if God is most knowledgeable, he knows about genocides happening.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Yes.
And if God is most powerful, he can stop a genocide because the genocide wouldn't be more powerful than God.
Genocide is not a will, a being with a will.
Well, I mean, the person who is causing the genocide is, and my point is like your God could stop it. Like you would agree that your God is more powerful in abilities than Hitler, for example, right?
Oh, I understand. So you say that God could stop that being to do the bad stuff, right? You're claiming that?
Yeah.
It's one of the premises?
For
Yeah,
example,
we
God
disagree
could
on
have.
that. Yeah,
So, for example,
Do you disagree with that? He
correct.
said he disagrees with that.
Hitler is more powerful than God.
No, not Hitler. The ability to stop him doing bad stuff.
Okay, then what about like volcanoes?
Same thing apply.
What? God is not strong enough to like stop a volcano?
Correct.
No, hold on. You
Then
can think of it like
that's
that.
retarded.
Hold on. You can think of it like that, right? Like in your belief, God created the universe, right? In certain way.
That's correct. He's the creator of the universe.
Yeah. So could God freely choose not to create if he wanted to?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, so you don't know if
He
God
just
has
knows
like a
like
free
that God
will?
is not powerful enough to stop Hitler and volcanoes. He doesn't know anything else.
Well, what I was trying to present him is like, look, like your God theoretically could have created like a universe without like a volcano or without Hitler, right? Is that logically
I don't know.
possible?
That's
I don't know. It needs to be demonstrated, and somebody tried to demonstrate it and weren't able when I had a conversation with him earlier. Not this week, but a month ago.
Well, I mean, I don't think there is like a contradiction in God creating a world where there are no volcanoes, right? Or God not creating anything, given that he has free will, right?
He's the most loving. Without creation, how would you show love?
Well, maybe creation is bad, right? Say creation was bad, then you agree that your God is not compatible with infinite evil, right? So whatever he creates has to be like a good thing, right?
You understood the question, Katie? Or it wasn't clear?
Yeah, I understood the question. How could God
Yeah,
show his
I
love
didn't
if he
hear the
didn't?
answer. I'm sorry.
So the
How
question,
would he?
Hmm?
Yeah. According to you, who claimed that he could, how would he?
How would he demonstrate his love if he didn't create anything?
Correct.
Well, I'm not sure if not creating a universe would be better, right? Because why would he need to show his love if it's better not to?
Maybe that God needs a purpose.
Well, I
I'm
want to know
sorry.
from Luke whether or not like it's necessary for God to demonstrate his abilities in order. Is it necessary for God to be fulfilled for him to create this universe? Because look, he could have created a universe without like Second World War happening, right? And he could still show
Are
his
you
love.
asking or you're telling?
Telling.
If you're telling, I need you to justify your position. One way to justify it is to explain how he would demonstrate his love without creation.
Well, I said he could demonstrate his love without allowing genocide to happen, right? And the way he can do that is like, look, like you agree that there are people that presumably don't know, or those could be like hypothetical people that don't know about like Second World War events and stuff like that, right? Do you hold the position that God can't demonstrate like their love to them in virtue of them not knowing?
You're talking about people, so creation,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah, so the question was, look,
in your
I'll
question,
simplify.
you are already claiming that God created humans, and you're asking me to answer the question, how would God show love? You
No.
ask me a question
We are talking
about
we are talking
what would
past each
happen
other.
to his creation,
No, we are
comparing
talking.
the Second World War to those who know, those who don't know. I'm sorry, PKD, I'm having trouble following you. Could you please answer the question?
Yeah,
How
I'll
would God?
restate. I'll restate it. It's we were talking past each other, right? What I'm asking is, right? Say there exists a human right now in this world that doesn't know about Second World War and the horrors that happened, right? The question is, do you believe that God could show love to this person who doesn't know?
He does show love to this person who doesn't know, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So Second World War happening is not necessary for God to show his love. That's the point that I was trying to make. And now that
I don't think anybody said it was.
Yeah, I look, we are just clearing semantics, right? And then the question becomes, right? Look, now that we know that Second World War was not necessary for God to show his love and his mercy, right? Why did he allow it?
Because he has to
Because of
respect.
free will.
I was
that's
asking
why.
look.
But that's an answer to my question. Yeah.
Well, how about answer mine?
Because of free will. That's the answer to your question. Please answer mine.
so Hori, so sorry, are you claiming that if God didn't give us free will, it would have been worse? Like morally worse?
No. You're still avoiding to answer my question, PKD.
Well, I thought you wanted me to give you an argument, so I'm doing that right now, right?
Oh, no, you're asking me a lot of questions.
So if God...
Instead of presenting your arguments, you're asking me a lot of questions. I'm like...
Well, because I want us to agree on a premise, right? Because I want us to agree on a premise. Sorry, so hold on. If God didn't give us free will, it wouldn't have been better, right? So God would have made a mistake, but because he is most good, he couldn't do that mistake, right? So events that happening because of the free will, are those events bad? Like, for example, me using my free will and killing a person on the street like an innocent person, is that a bad thing?
Oh, I understand what you're asking. So there are two degrees of badness. There are one that is against the will of God, the one that we must often use in English when we say bad, is things that goes against the will of God. But you are correct when someone says that these things are necessary, therefore they are good. You could say good and bad depending on which degrees.
So, is it a good thing if I were to kill a person under your theistic view, using my free will?
Killing, no. The ability to kill, yes.
Okay, so if God created a universe such that PKD couldn't kill anything, right, would that be better?
No.
So then a universe where PKD kills somebody would be better?
Correct.
Okay, so then killing somebody isn't bad if you use your free will.
Yes, it is bad.
No, it's not bad, because the alternative is morally worse, right? The alternative where the god intervenes or doesn't give me free will, I don't kill anybody. That's morally worse than if God gives me the free will and I kill somebody. That's what I'm getting from you. So I just don't understand.
No, be careful.
I just
there is a difference between the ability
I wasn't finished.
and making the action. Do you make this distinction in your...
Well, in the hypothetical, I'm saying that I am killing a person. I do have the ability, right? And in the second possibility is that I don't have the ability at all, right? And I'm asking you between those two possible worlds, where I do kill somebody, and the other possible world where God doesn't give me the ability, which one is more moral?
The thing is, we observe the third reality that you didn't present. Do we agree on that?
The third reality where I do have the free will and I don't choose to kill anybody?
Correct. Which of those three is the best one?
Well, that's a question for you.
Yeah, that's if you ask me the question, it will be the third one. That's why. So between the two, it's the second one, but between the three, it is the third one that is better.
Yeah, but you can't go with the third one because there are already people who are killing innocent people.
And there are already people who don't kill.
No. Look, like if you go with the third one, you would say that your God is not most good.
What are you saying no to, PKD? There are people who are not killing.
Well, I want to elucidate for you if you let me, right? So we agree that the best possible world is going to be the one where God gives free will, right? And we don't kill innocent people. That's the best scenario. We agree, right?
We choose freely to not kill.
They
Correct.
choose freely to not kill, right? But
correct.
That is not the universe that we live in. Do we
Correct.
agree on that? Yeah.
Yes.
And so given that there is a better possibility, your God failed to actualize the best possible world.
No. to have a world where you have the possibility to kill, you need the possibility to not kill. Or no, the other way around. The ability to not kill, you have to have the ability to kill. Therefore, there must be at least one murder, right?
No, that doesn't
No,
follow.
look, you're saying the
Right.
best possible world is where you have the possibility to kill, you have the ability, but you don't, right? So I'm saying
You
we are
choose
not
freely to
you
not.
choose freely, right? But we are not living in that universe where we choose freely not to kill. Some people do kill. We agree on that.
They choose freely to kill.
They choose freely to kill, and the universe would be morally better if we had the free will and we didn't kill. We had the ability, but we didn't use it. So then the question is, why didn't your God actualize this possible world? You said earlier that that doing genocides goes against him, right? So there is like a clear contradiction there, in your view.
How would you know about? How would you know
think
about?
like if he considered to these commitments, like it just follows that there is no God, and it actually follows deductively.
Mm-hmm.
If you claim that there could be such a word, how would you, in this word that you describe, know that there is a possibility to kill?
So listen, this is the issue, right? You believe that there is like a possible world where people don't choose to do the evil, right? Kill or whatever you take evil to be, right?
Do you understand the question, PKD? I'm sorry.
Oh, was it for,
listen,
it for me?
I mean, I'm asking a question, like.
Yes, but
So can you engage?
I want PKD's answer before you derail the conversation again on something else.
No, I'm not going to derail. I'm just making the same point PKD is making because you contradicted yourself. I'm just going to show how it deductively follows that there is no God based on your commitments. And you can do like all of the nervous laughter you like, right? After that.
Yeah, go ahead, Marco. Then I'll answer his question.
So, yeah, you said that God can do everything that's logically possible, correct? Look, I don't want to misrepresent you, so that's why I'm asking you to confirm.
Most knowledgeable, most powerful, most knowing.
Yeah, can
most
God
lovable.
create any world that's logically possible? Can he actualize any world that's logically possible?
I don't know.
Bro, what?
Oh, you don't know?
Correct.
So you don't know whether God is going to be omnipotent?
I don't know what omnipotent means in this phrase. I'm telling you, the thing I know is about most good, most powerful, and most knowing. If it follows that he could do what you say it is, well, yeah, it follows, but I'm not sure it
So
is
when
the
you say
case.
most, right? Like you're saying within some parameters, right? So are you saying
There
he
is
can
no one else that knows more than him, or is stronger than him, or
Well,
love him
there
more
is.
than
You
him.
said Hitler. Hitler is more powerful than God, right? Because clearly your
That's
God
wrong.
couldn't stop it. Oh, is the God
That's
more
wrong. Oh my God.
powerful? Hold on, is the God more powerful than Hitler?
Correct. God is more powerful than Hitler.
And is he better than Hitler morally?
Yes.
And he knows more than Hitler, right? So why didn't he stop him then? Like, look, if
Because
God
of free
exists...
will. I already answered your
Yeah,
question.
but look, you already agree that we don't live in the world where the free will is such that is not used, right?
We don't observe a world where free will doesn't exist. Am I agreeing with you? Yes.
Well,
There
I
is free
mean,
will in the
but
world.
wait,
This
wait.
is what we do observe.
So hold on. Do you hold the view that free will is like true in all possible worlds, as it is necessary? That's just a clarification. It's not a dunk on you. I just want to understand your view. You think non-free will is contradiction?
Non-free will is a contradiction. I don't understand, sorry.
Yeah, I'll clarify. You've said all possible worlds there is free will, right? So I'm saying
I don't think I use the word all possible world because this
okay.
thing, all possible world, is not something that I understand. Therefore, if you ask a question with all possible world like Marco asked, the answer is I don't know.
Oh, okay. So what was your statement in regards of free will then?
Right now, we know we live in a world where there is free will. We can observe people killing others.
Yeah, but is it like, on your view, like logically possible not to have free will?
Logically, based on our observation, it is not possible. I don't know about logically possible, but it's based on our observation, where we do observe people killing others. That's reality. It's not philosophy. It's just reality.
The amount of dumb stuff you say, man, is overwhelming.
Okay, Marco, that would be the last
Yeah,
one. Sorry.
I'll try to.
This is not
I'll
just
try to
this
clarify.
kind of this conversation. This is not
Hold
cool
on.
at all.
I'll try
That's
to.
it.
Well, I mean,
This is
hold
This
on.
is
Look,
shit. Sorry,
look,
I
look.
really
Let him
dislike
listen.
these people interrupting the conversation with insult like this.
Look. Listen. He wanted to make an argument. Let him make the argument, and then I will, answer your question. I think that's fair enough. I've cut off Marco. He wanted to make an argument.
What's the argument?
Yeah, so I said, I mean, I wasn't following all of this stuff like Luke was speaking, but I mean, if he says, right, that God is omnibenevolent, right, maximally good, like good to the greatest, extent, whatever he said, and that he's like omnipotent and omniscient, right, and by omnipotent he means like God can do everything that's logically possible, right? So Luke, you think like God can do things that under like some logical parameters are going to be possible, then you're saying God can do everything that's logically possible, right? And the world where people, all the people freely choose to do the good, right, is better, right? You would agree, and morally superior to the world where some people choose to do the good and other people like choose to do the evil, rape, genocide, Holocaust, whatever, right? And since both are logically possible and evil exists, then it's just gonna follow that there is no God of this kind.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm not sure that Luke even has like set positions on all these different theological points you guys are bringing to the table. Like
When you press him, like it seems like he's contradicting himself or saying something similar to that, because first he said like that God is like an entity that's like the most powerful, supervenes over everything else. And then he said, but this entity has certain desires, right? And it cannot actualize or realize those desires. So it seems like it can fail in regards to certain desires. So, but then he wants to say God cannot fail, right? The possibility of failure is not like present for God, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sense in which God actually is failing, right, in regards to like certain desires. For example, he doesn't want there to be genocide, but seems like he cannot stop genocide.
My point is, I don't from what he said, it doesn't sound like he's done much of an analysis on this on his own. I think he might have other reasons for believing in Christianity.
Yeah, reality is not hypothetical. What we do observe. Right now,
imagine
Marco,
like saying
your
a response to everything of like this, like just saying reality, right?
Marco, the argument you presented or the monologue that you did, that I suppose wasn't a question. Whenever I was waiting for the question, you just kept going with facts. Some of them might be wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. So I told you again.
The entailment of God having these omni properties
to me, Marco.
Understood the way I just explained.
It
would just deductively follow, right? That since the data is such that there
might be wrong,
the data is such that there are evils, right?
And this claim is unsupported.
Okay. The data is such that there are evils, it would just logically follow there is no God of this kind.
That is yet to be demonstrated, and I don't think this is a
I just
conversation we
demonstrated
can
it,
have.
buddy. I
Well,
just
which
did.
premise
No,
of
you
his?
didn't.
Hold
You-
on, look.
you
Which premise
outclaimed
is false?
many-
Which premise is false then, right? Because his like the conclusion there is no God is gonna follow. So for that not to be demonstrated, I take that you disagree with some premise, right?
Correct. The claim about possible word existing, this one I disagree on because I don't have the
Oh.
knowledge about it, and he claimed he has the knowledge about
But we
it.
can.
If
But
he
I can
wants,
grant you
we could
that.
have a demonstration on his part that this word possible is indeed possible.
But we can
it
grant
will
you
have
that it's
to be
impossible.
based on observation in reality. And
But
I
we-
don't think there is observation on reality to say that such a word could exist. I don't think so. But
Yeah,
it
but
is
then
not
I'm
a
gonna grant
conversation
it to you.
that we can have right
Hold on.
now.
I'm gonna
Marco,
grant it to
I
you.
hope
Yeah,
you had
listen,
the
nobody's
chance
talking
to...
about observation in reality about there not
I
being
am
evil. So
talking
it's
about
too
that.
fucking dumb to track, right? I'm saying it's logically possible.
All right.
I can grant you that there. Okay, let's grant that like world being different in any other way, it's impossible, right? Then when you say that something is bad, you mean that something ought not to happen, right? So compared to what other world, given there are no other possibilities on your view, there is only one possible world. It's the best possible world. Is that right? Is this world the best possible world? Well, it's the only one.
The world we live in?
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's the perfect one.
Yeah, so
maybe there are others. I don't know. Maybe there are others that are better than this one. But anyway,
so
this one we
like,
live in is a...
So like, all else equal, like if Second World War didn't happen, right? You would say that that world would be morally worse than ours.
I don't know, man, about the other world. I don't know about it. There is nothing pointing towards, to my knowledge, there is nothing pointing toward this other world that you keep talking about.
Well,
There
I'm
is
asking.
no
No.
reality of this
I'm
other
not
world
asking.
that you
Okay.
keep talking about.
Fair enough. Let me ask it as a counterfactual then. If the Second World War didn't happen, would it be better?
I don't know.
Okay. So then I take that you don't know whether or not the Second World War is good or a bad thing. Why should anybody
It's
accept?
a bad thing.
Oh, so then it shouldn't have happened. Something else should have happened, correct?
In the future, if you
No.
think about making...
No. Look,
Don't.
You're being evasive now, right? Like, the Second World War shouldn't have happened, is that correct?
I don't know.
Okay, because you said it's bad, like a second ago.
I agree. It is bad.
Okay, so are they bad things that should happen on your view? Because I take that the word bad is coextensive with something that shouldn't happen.
Again, I don't know.
You don't know your own semantics?
About the past,
No,
I don't know.
I'm asking your semantics, sorry. Yeah. Under your semantics,
yes.
Are there things that are bad that should happen on your semantics? The way you use language.
Yeah, there is at least one. Yeah.
And Second World War is like one of those things that's bad but should happen.
I don't know about Second World War. I know about the crucifixion.
You don't know your own position?
Correct. In its specific subject, I don't have enough knowledge to say I know and support I know. But there are other subject that I know is needed. So, the suffering of Jesus, crucifixion, resurrection, those things are needed.
So just to be clear, right, for the room, the answer to the question, does Luke take that Second World War, that the Second World War is something that should happen, is I don't know. Can you confirm that?
No, I can't.
Okay then, so what's the answer to the question? Should Second World War happen? Or was it the right thing to happen?
Yeah, was it right to happen? Was it the right thing that it happened?
As morally right.
I don't know.
Yeah, so you don't know.
You don't know.
And that's why... Okay, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, we say Christianity is unreasonable, because if one holds such belief as Luke, right? You hold these beliefs and you cannot tell me whether or not Second World War should or shouldn't happen, if it is a bad or a good thing, right? That's what makes it unreasonable. So far as the claim
Are
of
you
the
able to
room,
answer the question?
so far as the claim of the room is considered, I take that to be demonstrated to a sufficient degree.
If you
Yeah,
want to make
so
a
you can.
demonstration, you should be able to support the claim that Second World War was shouldn't have happened. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. So just to be clear, Christianity is unreasonable has been demonstrated. Now you can
Only
ask
if
me
you
question.
demonstrate that Second World War shouldn't have happened.
I'm doing.
And you feel
I can.
that you are
I
able to
tell you.
demonstrate that this is
I,
true.
I tell you I can, right? But the point is that I'm doing an internal critique on your view. I'm accepting
Yeah, based
premises
on
that
the
you
false
accept.
claim, right? If it's
No.
correct, if it's
Look.
true, your claim is true, then okay, your point is made. But if your claim is false, then you didn't make any point according to the name of this room. So I need you to support your claim Second World War shouldn't have happened.
I will. But before that, just to be clear on the terms, what I was doing. Do you know what internal critique is? Internal
I know
critique.
what
Man, can you
internal
just get to the
critique is.
point? Can you just get to the point,
Well,
please?
the point that I was concerned has been made already, which is Christianity is unreasonable, but he didn't understand I was doing internal critique the whole time.
Well,
Only
he's saying
if you are
that
correct
depends
in
on
your
your
claim.
claim. So let's
Correct.
hear your
No,
claim.
it doesn't. It
Let's hear the
doesn't.
No,
justification.
that
for
would
your
be
claim.
confusing the internal critique with like some comparative analysis. He said
Right. So
he did an internal critique to show your view is unreasonable. And it's because
Correct.
your view leads to like, oh, we don't know if the Holocaust shouldn't or should have happened. So that's because of your view, not because of his. Your view leads to that.
if he agree with
Oh
me
my
that we
God.
don't know,
Look,
then it is not
look,
the end
look.
or of the demonstration.
Okay, look.
If he disagree with me and is correct in his claim,
Is this
then
room?
it is a demonstration.
Is this
Right
room
now,
named?
I
No,
need
no, no, no,
him
no.
to
Look,
demonstrate his claim to be correct, so that the conclusion that demonstration
Look.
of this room has been made.
look. Listen.
If
Is
it
the
doesn't
name of the
support
room?
his claim,
That's fine. But is the name of the room Christianity is reasonable, and I'm here to show you it is unreasonable? What does my beliefs have anything to do with that? I'm showing, accepting premises that you've agreed with, it is unreasonable, wildly unreasonable to the degree that you cannot tell me whether or not Second World War is a good thing or a bad thing, right? That's the name of the room. So far as I'm concerned, I don't need to defend any of my beliefs. I can just attack, right? I think that's fair enough.
if you claim that this Second World War shouldn't have happened is true, then you are correct. If you demonstrate that this is true,
I
if
was
you
demonstrating.
don't,
Okay, but I was demonstrating.
if you don't,
No, look, I'm
if you
demonstrating
don't,
Christianity is unreasonable.
if you don't, your argument doesn't hold.
Look,
it doesn't bear any truthness in it because the claim is false.
Which claim is false? That you cannot tell me whether or not Second World War is good or bad? That claim is
No,
true.
that it is unreasonable. Christianity is unreasonable.
Wait, all I need to show that Christianity is unreasonable is to show some failure on the view. Like a contradiction, a major failure.
This claim must be right or true.
I don't need to prove any other view. I can just rule out your view in virtue of being contradictory or morally inferior, right? That would be unreasonable. So I take
if it's contradictory, correct.
I take that's what we are doing here, right?
No, we're not. You didn't demonstrate a contradiction in my claims. You added one of yours, which is Second World War shouldn't have happened, and you claim this to be true.
No,
and
that
use
was
this claim
I'm asking
to make
you.
your demonstration. But if this claim, should a Second World War shouldn't have happened, is false, your demonstration is false. Therefore, you did not demonstrate that Christianity is unreasonable. All your demonstration hinged onto this claim that you made.
No, the demonstration hinges on the fact that you can't answer the question. You don't know.
Which question?
Whether or not the Second World War should have happened, which is going to include whether or not the Holocaust should have happened.
So if I cannot answer that,
So you're
it doesn't
presupposing that the
show
Holocaust even happened in the first.
the unreasonability. And when if because the reason why it doesn't show that Christianity is unreasonable is because if no one can demonstrate that it shouldn't have happened, then I am like,
That's
it is
not
not
the case,
possible.
right? No, it just means your view. Christianity is going to include like a moral framework, and the point is your moral framework can't answer pretty basic moral questions.
That's
So
right.
clearly,
Yeah,
it's
but
going to be unreasonable
yeah,
to hold
but
to this
he's-
moral framework.
Yeah, but Luke's saying that he doesn't think that the other side has a reasonable moral framework either.
That's
Yeah, that's
fine.
fine. He can
That's
believe
fine.
that. No one
Yeah.
cares about that.
Yeah, because look,
Or that there's
Terminator.
no.
No, that's not the point, Terminator. The name of the room is Christianity is reasonable. So far as I'm concerned, I can come in here without holding any worldview explicitly and just argue against Christianity, right? That's the topic of the room.
You had a syllogism that you started, and then in midway you moved to Second World War. So
well,
like,
I was establishing a
either-
premise when I was asking you whether or not
Mhm.
whether or not Second World War is something that ought to happen, right? But since you cannot answer that question, right, then I don't get to my conclusion, but you get to accept your inferior moral framework. It's called To Bite the Bullet, right? Which is like a great video for YouTube.
It's like as if the funny part is even granting what this guy's saying is like irrelevant, right? So even granting that no other worldview could, no other like moral view could show why the Holocaust shouldn't have happened. This is probably just going to mean that all the worldviews that we have access to that give us some moral framework are all unreasonable.
That's right.
It's not as if, oh, we have a bunch of unreasonable
is.
positions, therefore my position's not unreasonable. That's not how like reasonability works.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3. That's weird as a name. Anyway, your